In rock we trust, it's rock or bust. What's up everyone? Happy Thanksgiving to you. My name is John and it's time to talk about the 16th studio album from the hard rock group AC/DC. Hailing from Australia, these guys have been through a lot over the years. Of course, on this new album, problems plaguing them, well, the lack of obviously founding member Malcolm Young on the guitar. They've lost him to dementia, unfortunately, and he was having trouble remembering his parts and was getting confused and that sort of thing. And coming from someone who's dealt with a lot of loss of family members from dementia and Alzheimer's disease, it's a very serious thing, and my hearts go out to them because that's just so hard to see someone fade away like that. Their drummer, Phil Rudd, is also in some trouble. We're not going to get into that though, but AC/DC are plowing through, continuing on. They've got the world tour planned for 2015. Rock or Bust is the name of this new record. These guys are like the defenders of rock. It's like they should have some rings on their finger and be like, go rock and roll, and then they go attack and bring out another album. At this point in their career, don't be expecting like a sonic change or like for them to like reinvent themselves. That is not happening. Go into an AC/DC record expecting some nice hard rock tunes with maybe a little bit of other outside influences, some arena rock, some blues, etc. And it makes for another really listenable album. I don't want to commend it too much because it's nothing extraordinary, but it's something that you can kind of just throw on and jam to. If you're driving or if you're doing something, you're doing some work and throw it on in the background, it's going to get you pumped up. Play Ball, lead single from this thing. Thoroughly enjoyed that track. I mean, it's nothing too anthemic or anything like that, or anything that's gonna blow your mind, but if you're an AC/DC fan, you're gonna enjoy it more than likely. The tracks that get me are the ones that actually try a little bit harder to set themselves apart and create their own unique identity. I think tracks that do that for me, Baptism by Fire, feels a little bit darker. I love the guitar tone on that track. Sweet Candy is another one that's sticking with me just because lyrically it delves into something a little bit different. I mean, these guys fucking love rock and roll, women, sex, just the whole lifestyle that surrounds it, and that's what they sing about. But they do tend to mix things up a little bit lyrically on tracks that I mentioned. Another one that comes to mind is Rock the Blues Away. That's one that's kind of sticking with me as not an odd man out, but one that feels different. It's finely crafted, and I like the way that the bass and the drums, everything feels full circle on that one. Phil Rudd isn't exactly the most phenomenal drummer in the world, but that's not the point. They always have something that rounds out a track really well. And I think with AC/DC, if you go in expecting Travis Barker style drums on a track, then you're gonna be sadly mistaken. That's not what we get here. Guitar-centric music has always been the heart of AC/DC, and obviously we've lost Malcolm Young, but we still have Angus Young, and that's the younger brother of Malcolm. He's still shredding it up here. You're gonna see all kinds of great stuff. The title track, Rock or Bust, is one that just feels very in your face, super rockin', one of my favorite jams on this LP. Some of the tracks though just aren't going over that well with me. Misadventure comes to mind, as well as Emission Control, the closer on this record. I mean, they're not unengaging. It's not the fact that I'm hating these things, it's just a lot of them feel so done before. I mean, 16 albums in, you're bound to come across similarities in some of your earlier music. And obviously, vocalist Brian Johnson, ever since 1980, their old singer passed away, he's been handling things on the vocals. I think there were a few times where he was out of the band and then back in. There's been a lot of tensions there, but everything's good now. But hearing Brian wail on these tracks, I mean, he doesn't sound that old. He doesn't sound like he's an aging man that's well into his 60s. He sounds like he did back in the 80s, and that's something that's still strong about the music. It's not like it sounds like a bunch of old men getting together recording a record. It still sounds somewhat fresh. There are some tracks on there that people are going to love. There's going to be skippables, and that's really what I can say for some of the past handful of AC/DC records. For me personally, there's not that much more to say. 3.5 out of 5. It's kind of hard to review an AC/DC album just because they haven't changed up their style that much. I don't really expect them to, but there's not a ton new to talk about each time. So this is the first time I've ever reviewed an AC/DC album. If you would like to see me do a potential throwback review, anything as old as High Voltage or as new as Black Ice, let me know in the comment section down below what you'd like to see me tackle. Don't forget to hit the like button on this video, subscribe to the channel, and consider supporting me on Patreon. Links are in the description down below. I hope you enjoyed this review and have a great holiday season. I've got countdown videos starting up this week. If you'd like to see the first one, check the link for Beyond ARTV, my second channel. It should be up within the next day or so. I'll see you very soon right here on ARTV, Beyond the Reviews.